We fight how we train. Where does Anthony Joshua get his awesome punching power, but his average boxing ability? Okay, we're going to be taking a look at a few of the different types of punches and ways that he was training his pull counters, his power punching, and kind of get a feel for, again, we fight exactly how we train. Okay, we're going to hold it up on this clip right here. We're going to talk a little bit about a few of the drills that it is that he does and talk about the mechanics of them and talk about why they work. So here he is getting down, controlling with the jab and allowing himself to use this down motion to control his opponent here, right? And then he's going to explode up into a two. Now, this down up motion is the root of a 2 foot punching drill that I teach for pendulum boxing and pendulum power punching. Okay, but he's going to be getting down with this move here, down, up, and then as we drive our weight from the ground up with both of our feet, we're able to generate a lot of power. Okay, we're going to take a look at a few different versions of this here. Here he is doing it with the left hook, getting down, up, and again, just using it to generate a lot of power. It helps us learn to use and isolate our kinetic chain. Again, this is a drill that I created and I showed on my YouTube channel a few years ago. The root of this drill is the pendulum step. As you see my weight up, down, right? And I get in this structure on position 1 on the front foot and on the back foot. And as you see, the pendulum step allows me to move through them. And now I'm just going to isolate a little bit of that 2 foot punching structure, that same structure I was going to pendulum step out of, and I'm going to isolate it, and I'm going to use some of that motion to add power to this punch here. Okay, very similar drill. Again, driving our weight from the ground up, and then again, the same thing with the right hand, the same structure, down, up, down, up. And again, you want to be really using both feet. Now, the better you get at these drills, the less you're going to have to exaggerate the down up motion of the 2 foot punching part. Okay, it's just a drill, and as you get better at it, you'll be able to use less and less of it. As you can see, Anthony Joshua not that good at it. He's learning it from somebody. He's learning it from Ben Davison, who's been a longtime follower of my channel, longtime use of my theory, longtime use of my strategies, my film studies. Now, another one of those things that we saw in there that Anthony Joshua was doing so well was a pull counter like motion. Okay, boom, right? The jab comes and boom, boom. He counters here with an uppercut into a hook. But in the fight against Ngannou, he did just go straight into a boom, into a rear hand over the top instead of a thing. But again, you can see the root of it, right? Down, and then he goes up and springs into the rear hand. Again, just doing it much quicker than he does in training. Okay, now I also want to talk about the fact that when we take a look at him on the mitts here and we take a look at him on the pads, none of this stuff is boxing. Okay, this is all striking, and it's very important that you understand how to blend your striking and your boxing together so that you can, actually fight somebody. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit here. Now, I also want to talk about real quick again. We fight how we train. This is his warm up before the Ngannou fight, and he throws this rear hand. And I just want to point out how he kind of falls off balance again. Again, we're going to be taking a look at a lot of clips, and we're going to talk about a little bit of stuff that Daniel Dubois may be able to capitalize on when he fights. Now, rear hand falling a little bit off balance. See his foot coming up off the ground. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the clips of him circling. Now, he's going to be throwing this jab to the body, right? And one of the things that he doesn't really practice is post-punch defense, okay? As we saw on the mitts right there, every time he threw a punch or a combination, he's just bashing it, hitting it as hard as he can. It means he's going to be vulnerable when he does jump onto the line, okay? Now, number 2, he's not moving around in any of those clips that we saw him bashing the bag or bashing the mitts with. Okay, and understanding again how to blend your striking and your movement is extremely important. Okay, I'm just going to take this time out real quick, just a tiny bit to tell you guys about the Fouts Boxing Academy. Okay, it's got over 100 unique drills ready to challenge amateurs and pros, beginner to expert level fighters. Again, all ranges of activity level, all ranges of expertise. okay, are going to be challenged with these drills, and it's going to teach you exactly the best and most brutally efficient ways to practice not only your striking, what striking drills to practice, what order to be practicing them in, but it's also going to teach you how to properly learn how to circle and step around your opponents. Again, circling your opponent and stepping around your opponent, these are terms that people colloquially use as lateral movement, but on my channel I call it circling. So anybody who's calling it circling, they're influenced by my channel. So understand that this is going to be a massive part of understanding how boxing and striking works going forward, and making sure that you're on the cusp of, give me 1 second, guys, of boxing knowledge. Okay, again, these theories and these drills and the way that we practice circling and moving around our opponent and adding our striking to these drills are unique to my channel, unique to the ways that I teach boxing and striking. And again, if you guys want to learn all the best ways, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy with over 60 members already, a part of the academy. There's all levels of fighters, and again, I'm the first coach in history right here, striking coach, first coach in history to be able to figure out how all boxing and striking works. Okay, so you guys want to learn how that all of this stuff works? Come check it out. But again, how to layer your striking into your boxing, into your moving, into your circling, to stay safe, to set up the most amount of traps and all that stuff. Again, the Fouts Boxing Academy, very, very, very unique place with weekly Fouts Boxing Academy videos that are going to teach you, based on the content that users are submitting, how to improve, right? And users are submitting the videos that are their training videos of their replication of the drills that are posted, and then I guys teach you guys how to do them better. I teach you how to do them harder, faster. I teach you how to become more athletic. And we also go over all the film studies. So if you guys want a full fight breakdown of the Joshua versus Dubois fight, the full film study is on Patreon. It is also on the Fouts Boxing Academy, along with hundreds of other videos already, and other again, there's with nearly 60 members in the community, tons of people sending in video, and also some videos of my own private workouts and all that stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool stuff. Anybody who's part of the community, feel free to chime in and let people know what your experience is. Check out the reviews as well. It's really cool. It's a cool place. Okay, so check it out. But again, we're going to be taking a look at, more of the random Anthony Joshua flaws here. Okay, boom. Now, one of those things that Anthony Joshua is pretty bad at, okay, is when things kind of get into a scramble. Okay, he doesn't always predict things super well, and when things don't go the way that he thinks they should, right, he can often be hit. Again, no post-punch defense. When we take a look at him circling here, his left hand is kind of leading out, which means he's not really guarding the line over his left shoulder, which means he's open for a rear hand. We're going to see Ngannou kind of control him as he tries to move to the front foot, boom, and almost walk into this shot here. Okay, now again, we all remember that Ngannou got blasted and got dominated and was no challenge and all this stuff, but when we also remember how the vulnerable moments where he's getting countered by the left hook when he throws his jab and just trying to basically circle here with no pressure. There was nothing even happening to him. He winds up walking right into an overhand right here. Again, a very, very, very common problem for Anthony Joshua, again, as he's circling and learning to get on and off the line with his opponent, because he doesn't actually blend his striking practice with his boxing. Okay, and again, that's why when he moves around here in these sequences, he's going to be having these big, massive gaps right here, massive, massive hole. He doesn't really block punches. He doesn't really change positions. He doesn't have an active guard. He's basically just waiting for his coach to put the mitt up and show him where he's supposed to attack. Now, again, as he's circling and he gets to this position, stepping forward, even Ngannou is able to time him here. He's not a boxer, and he's able to time Joshua because, again, one of Joshua's other biggest flaws, always stepping with his jab. Okay, now, again, I don't think that this means that Daniel Dubois is going to win, But if we're talking about his best case scenario, right, these are some of the things that he needs to be looking at. Now, Ngannou gets on his line with a little leaping hook here, gets him right here. Now take a look at Anthony Joshua rolling under the line because he's nearly against the ropes here, but he understands that as he crosses the line here and he's circling, okay, he's going to be crossing the line of the rear hand of Ngannou, and he doesn't want to get hit by that right hand that he kept getting blocked with, right? So he's going to duck and roll under the line here. Okay, this is, again, look at what a terrible position he's in. Look at how long it takes him to do this move. This is going to be something, again, because he doesn't understand how to circle correctly. This may be something that somebody like Daniel Dubois may be able to take advantage of, as he did a fair amount of circling against Jarrell Miller. Now, again, he doesn't actually have a guard. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. But again, a little bit of the circling from Anthony Joshua, and we're talking about, is he controlling space? Where's his active guard? Look how easy it is to be pushed around the ring, right? Still not really have anything up on that guard. And again, one of the things that's so bad about Joshua is that he wants everything to be so perfect, right? He's waiting for a jab here, and a jab doesn't come. It winds up being a left hook. And even though he's circling, right, he's going to the front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, and now he gets attacked with the left hook. Where's he going to go? Well, there's the hole here right around the guard. Again, he's getting hit here. He's not actually blocking it. It's not actually good circling, because all of this will end up being really predictable. And he got walked right into this, allowing him to throw these three-punch combination against him. Again, because Anthony Joshua doesn't really interact with his opponent's punches very well. When something kind of goes, awry, it doesn't go to his exact plan. He kind of panics and kind of gets stuck in a bad position. He'll kind of freeze especially on the front foot. Now, take a look at him not circling here, right? And taking a step off the line, just straight back, and then breaking into this rear hand. Look at how fast he is. Okay, now this is the thing that I think that Daniel Dubois is not going to be able to bridge the gap between. Even if he can bridge the gap between the boxing with the circling and stuff, Anthony Joshua is just so fast with his punches. He's so quick with his rear hand that I think that Daniel Dubois is going to struggle when he does wind up getting on the line, when it is that Anthony Joshua does want to land a punch. Again, he's so explosive with this rear hand, you just don't even really see it coming. Again, and Daniel Dubois doesn't actually keep his left hand in a zone where he can block right hands either, which again is very, very, very bad for him. Now, again, look at Anthony Joshua getting pushed off his line, and look at him again circling. Look at this position that he winds up being in. Look at how he's on the left leg. Look at how he's crossing his feet. Look at how his feet are so close together, but all his weight is on the front foot, and he's near his opponent. This circling pattern is extremely bad and dangerous and vulnerable. Okay, and again, Daniel Dubois may be able to take advantage of these flaws. However, when Anthony Joshua, right here, he is trying to use his active guard. Now, real quick, what position is he in here? He's in position to explode out of that right hand or that left hook, as we saw him training down up. He's in his training position. His opponent didn't interact with him. He's in a perfect position to explode out, but he doesn't actually practice doing this stuff while moving around. So he didn't actually find the hole. He didn't have the courage to make the attack that he was looking for. And now he goes back to the circling and starts getting picked off. Okay, so what does Anthony Joshua do? Well, he's not a boxer, so he's just going to start blasting the line, throwing hard punches. Get out of here. Let me get some points. Don't embarrass me in front of my hometown like that. And then again, he's going to do the same thing, sticking the lead hand out there. He's not using circling. He's not using any active guard. He's just coming straight in. Boom, boom, and the rear hand over the top. Again, he's not really boxing when he's doing his best work. He's not really circling when he's doing his best work. He's jumping on the line and exploding. And again, that's actually Daniel Dubois' worst nightmare, because his guard sucks. His guard is actually just factually bad. Now, again, what happens when Anthony Joshua pivots on the front foot, starts circling? He's vulnerable. Right? Even right after this little sequence he didn't predict correctly, he was completely vulnerable on the front foot right there. Completely vulnerable. He didn't really interact with punches. He didn't come up with any counters. And if we just take a look at this, right, he's going to interact with him, right? Boom, boom. Look at him get down here. He's down. He's ready to explode because he's coiled. He's ready to uncoil and throw a left hook or a right hand. But again, things didn't go the way that he was planning right here. The cerebral mind of Anthony Joshua wasn't allowed to take over and analyze and make this a beautiful sequence, right? Because that's the thing about Anthony Joshua is that, I don't want to say he wants to be known for being a cerebral fighter, right? But he kind of is and is trying to be a cerebral fighter, right? Down, boom, leaping hook, again, just like he practiced on the video, right? I just wanted to include that again. We fight how we train, not like super relevant for the overall overarching film study. Boom, it's throwing the jab down, and then again, I think that at some point it's an inevitability that he's going to get control of the line, and Anthony Joshua will be able to explode on Daniel Dubois and throw these hard shots and hurt him. Again, Daniel Dubois' guard just not very tight. He tires a little bit. Now, if we take a look at this clip here, this is a very, very, very important clip, right? Circling. Now, this is at the beginning of the 5th round. If Daniel Dubois wants to circle him like he circled Jarrell Miller, look at him cross the line right there. Robert Helenius can go anywhere he wants in this ring because one of the biggest flaws that Anthony Joshua has, because he practices everything striking on the pads with his coach, he doesn't actually cut the ring off very well. Again, he's just letting Robert Helenius go wherever he wants, right? He's not stopping him. He's not really interacting with him. He doesn't really have an active guard, right? All the way up until he wants to explode and just start throwing punches, right? And then he gets him on the ropes and he's like, okay, is he going to control him? Is he going to do a 1-2? Is he going to do a fancy one? Is he going to throw a 3-2? Is he going to do, what's he going to do? So he controls him a little bit and he just walks right onto the line with no guard. He just expects that the ring is cut off and that it's safe and that all these things, but this is a very, very, very bad and dangerous move. Throws a 3, pendulums, throws the 2, and now he's holding. Right? Maybe Helenius is holding too, But he didn't safely enter the line after cutting the ring off. After Helenius gave up all that space, right? He didn't control him. He didn't really do anything very good, right? He sacrificed his position. Now again, circling, right? Getting hit with the rear hand over the top again, circling. His circling is really bad. I don't think that Dubois will be able to bridge the gap between these kind of shots and make them happen as often as he needs, because Anthony Joshua, when he wants to be on the line and just start stepping jab, and be sharp and be fast, Daniel Dubois gets hit by literally everything that Filip Hrgovic throws in the first 3 rounds. Everything and the kitchen sink. His trainer probably threw a bottle in there and it managed to hit him. And I think Daniel Dubois, while his circling may allow him to find holes like this and cross Anthony Joshua's line, at some point Anthony Joshua will just kind of go, I'll say, going to go ape shit and just beat him up. Just start attacking him, throwing hard shots, because again, that's one of those things that Anthony Joshua does, right, is kind of explode onto the line. Now, again, take a look at his circling here. He's going to be crossing his feet. Now, when his back foot comes right here, this is essentially a pendulum walk, and it becomes very, very, very obvious that you took a step on your back foot. You're about to take a step on your front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, and here he goes. Back foot, pendulum walk, takes a step on the front foot, gets attacked, boom, boom. Again, Anthony Joshua, while he's circling there, right, not controlling, not feinting, not probing, no leash on his opponent. No way to control him, so he gets completely pushed out of position and gets almost smacked by this left hook here, right? Now, again, Robert Helenius, if he's a better athlete, could continue following up. Anthony Joshua doesn't actually have any traps or any striking to practice off of his circling, off of his moving, off of his stepping around of his opponent. Now, let's not forget that we still have to remember that Anthony Joshua is just going to jump on the line with the guy and find that shot and probably just ice Daniel Dubois, right? That's very, very, very likely, the most likely outcome. And the thing is here it is, like in the 7th or the 8th round, whatever it is with Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius is beaten. He's battered. He's exhausted. He was jumping around, looking all decent against Anthony Joshua in the first 2 rounds, 3 rounds. By round 7, he's completely gassed. And Anthony Joshua is still fresh. He's still that monster of an athlete who's just going to go boom with that right hand and smash him in the face. And I think that while Daniel Dubois is not as fragile as Robert Helenius, is, he's much bigger, he's much stronger, it's all muscle, right? Even though he's not tall as him, right? He's much more muscle massy. I think that Anthony Joshua is still going to find an opportunity to lull Daniel Dubois to sleep and then maybe put him to sleep. And the thing is, Anthony Joshua is explosive enough that if he ever gets the courage, he could do that really early in the fight. But the likelihood is because his circling is bad, he doesn't cut off the ring very well. Daniel Dubois will be able to cross his line, and if Daniel Dubois is on his shit, right? Because here's the thing: Jarrell Miller was body to body with Dubois, right? And he was getting cracked and hit with overhands and left hooks and then jabs. And Anthony Joshua knows where his range is. He's not going to be on the line with Dubois, so he will be able to pick him off on the outside. However, Dubois does have a good overhand right, so there is some game. But overall, I think that it'll be a slow-paced fight that winds up being a little bit like Pulev versus Anthony Joshua, where it's like low activity, nobody's scoring a lot, it's close, but only because Anthony Joshua is not trying to beat and batter his opponent. He's just trying to stay barely ahead of him in the scoring, all the way up until he gets tired. And again, Daniel Dubois doesn't have a sharp guard. He's not tight. He doesn't have the best circling. He gets hit by everything in the kitchen sink. Um, you know, so I think that Anthony Joshua probably just winds up catching him. However, if he's on his shit, man, he really could look really good for a few rounds. But again, I just think it's just kind of inevitable. Anyway, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy. It's the coolest way to learn boxing, the best place. There's nobody on the planet that knows more about boxing or striking or how to punch hard than me. Also, it's a great place for you to meet other people who are learning the Fouts Boxing Academy stuff, Fouts Boxing Combat System. And I'm going to be moving around and traveling. I'm going to be in San Diego later this week. And it's a great way for me to figure out who you guys are so I can meet up with you guys. And yeah, we can do some in-person training. Okay? So yeah, see you guys.